It's with great sadness that I just report to you that Marcus Lamb, my dear friend, who is
Daystar Television Network, founded in 1993 by Marcus Lamb and his wife Joni, has become a significant presence in the world of Christian broadcasting. With a global reach and a mission to spread the word of Christ through a variety of platforms, Daystar has gained a devoted audience over the years. The network, known for its faith-based content, awards and dedication to broadcasting the teachings of Christ, has garnered legions of evangelical viewers across the globe. But recently, Daystar's name has been caught in a storm of controversy, one that has deeply affected its leadership and raised questions about the integrity of the family-run network. This scandal involves allegations of abuse, family disputes, and deepening divides that threaten the very foundation of the organization. The Lamb family's internal strife has unfolded in public, drawing attention to the dysfunction within a ministry that has long been celebrated for its impact on the Christian community. The origins of Daystar, a family dream. Marcus and Joni Lamb's journey began in 1984 when they moved to Montgomery, Alabama, with the goal of launching the state's first full-power Christian television station, WMCF-TV. Their vision for a Christian broadcasting network was ambitious and would ultimately transform into Daystar Television Network. The couple worked tirelessly to build the station over the next few years, and in 1990, they sold it before moving to Dallas, Texas. In 1993, the Lambs acquired the previously defunct KMPH, setting the stage for what would become Daystar's rise as a global broadcasting empire. By 1997, with the support of renowned ministries like Kenneth Copeland Ministries, Marcus and Joni Lamb took a major leap forward by establishing Daystar Television Network. This transition saw them purchase a station in Colorado, and within a few short years, Daystar was officially launched. It wasn't long before the Lamb's dream was realized, as Daystar's reach grew internationally, broadcasting religious content 24/7 to millions of viewers across the world. As Daystar expanded, so did its infrastructure. The Lambs moved into a massive 32,000 square foot facility, which housed the network's production studios and became the heart of Daystar's operations. For many viewers, Daystar was a beacon of hope and faith, offering a wide array of Christian programming, including inspirational messages, worship services, and teachings from prominent pastors. The family's struggles, personal and professional tensions. Despite the apparent success of Daystar, the Lamb family's personal and professional lives began to unravel over time. In 2021, Marcus Lamb tragically passed away from complications related to COVID-19, leaving his wife Joni to take over as president of Daystar. While Joni was a key figure in the network's operations, the transition raised tensions within the family. Joni's son, Jonathan Lamb, had long been seen as the heir apparent to take over the network. Jonathan had worked alongside his parents in various roles at Daystar, and it seemed only natural that he would assume leadership once Marcus was no longer around. However, a series of events in the aftermath of Marcus's death altered this trajectory. Jonathan and his wife Susie became embroiled in a dispute with Joni over leadership matters, eventually leading to a dramatic rift within the family. According to reports, Jonathan had anticipated becoming the next president of Daystar, but this expectation was dashed when Joni was appointed instead. This decision, which Jonathan reportedly viewed as a betrayal, was seen by some as the catalyst for the family's growing dysfunction. The allegations of abuse, a dark family secret. The allegations that would soon come to light added an even darker layer to the family's already tumultuous situation. Jonathan and Susie Lamb made shocking claims that their young daughter had been molested by a family member. These allegations surfaced during a meeting at a beach house rented by Daystar for an annual retreat in 2021. Susie Lamb recalled a disturbing incident when her daughter, who was only 5 years old at the time, went to change into a swimsuit. Susie alleged that an adult male relative followed the child to the room and acted in a way that deeply alarmed her. The situation escalated when Jonathan Lamb confronted the man, only to find his daughter naked in the room. As the investigation unfolded, it became apparent that the abuse may have begun several months earlier. Susie's recollections of the incident were unsettling. Her daughter had apparently become afraid of visiting Daystar's headquarters, associating the place with the abuse. Jonathan and Susie later alleged that their daughter had revealed the details of the molestation, but by the time they attempted to address the issue with Joni Lamb, the situation seemed to be dismissed. Susie's attempts to discuss the matter with her mother-in-law were met with resistance, which ultimately led to Jonathan and Susie feeling that a cover-up was underway. The alleged cover-up, a family divided. The cover-up allegations were perhaps the most damning aspect of the scandal. According to Jonathan and Susie, Joni had been made aware of the abuse soon after their daughter disclosed it. However, they claimed that the matter was downplayed and not properly addressed. Jonathan and Susie further alleged that their concerns were ignored and that Joni chose to prioritize the network's image over the safety and well-being of the family. The couple's accusations intensified as they began to suspect that the abuse was being hidden for the sake of the family's reputation. Jonathan expressed frustration at not being able to have his voice heard within the organization, and he felt that his concerns were being dismissed because of the pressure to maintain the network's public image. According to reports, Jonathan believed that his father, Marcus Lamb, had intended for him to succeed him as president, but that the plan was altered after the abuse allegations were made public. Joni Lamb's response to the allegations was swift and resolute. In a video response, she vehemently denied the claims, describing them as part of a smear campaign. Joni insisted that the decision to make her the president of Daystar had been a clear directive from Marcus before his passing, and she maintained that the termination of Jonathan's position had nothing to do with the abuse allegations. Instead, she explained that Jonathan's demotion had been a result of his poor performance at the network and his refusal to sign a non-disclosure agreement. The media frenzy, a public battle. The situation came to a head when Jonathan and Susie Lamb decided to go public with their allegations. In a video message, the couple explained why they had chosen to share their story with the world. They revealed that they had been living in hiding for fear of their safety and had prayed for months about whether to go public with the details of their daughter's abuse. "We never dreamed this would be our lives," Susie said in the video. "We begged God for months and months that He would take it any other route, but we have to obey in the end." The media response to the Lamb's video was intense. Investigative reporter Julie Ross released a series of articles detailing the allegations, further fueling the controversy. The reports quoted Jonathan and Susie, who spoke about the trauma their daughter had endured and how they felt they had no other choice but to expose what they believed was a cover-up. The couple also shared disturbing details about a family member, referred to only as Pete, whom they suspected of being involved in the abuse. Their claims were bolstered by a story in which Pete allegedly spoke about an encounter with their daughter in which she had walked in on him while he was naked in the bathroom. The fallout from the Lamb's decision to go public was swift. Daystar's reputation was called into question, with many viewers expressing outrage over the allegations. The Lamb family was torn apart, with some members siding with Jonathan and Susie, while others stood by Joni's leadership. The situation was further complicated by the fact that several other family members worked at Daystar, creating a tense and divisive atmosphere within the network. The future of Daystar, a family in crisis. As the scandal continued to unfold, the future of Daystar Television Network remained uncertain. The network's leadership was in flux, with Joni Lamb at the helm and Jonathan Lamb ousted from his position. While Daystar remained operational, the family's deepening rift and the accusations of abuse had left a lasting mark on the organization's reputation. Jonathan and Susie's decision to go public with their allegations was a bold move, one that would have far-reaching consequences for the network. The couple's desire to speak out was driven by their belief that they were doing God's will, despite the immense personal and professional risks they faced. They felt that exposing the truth was the only way to ensure justice for their daughter and to hold those responsible accountable. For Joni Lamb, the fallout from the scandal has been deeply painful. As the matriarch of the Lamb family and the leader of Daystar, she has been thrust into the public spotlight in ways that she never anticipated. Her defense of the network and her insistence on the integrity of Daystar's leadership have been met with both support and criticism. For Joni, the road ahead is fraught with challenges as she seeks to restore the trust of her viewers and heal the divisions within her family. The Lamb family feud, a tragic family divide. In recent years, Daystar Television Network has become embroiled in an ongoing family dispute that has taken the public by storm. Founded in 1993 by Marcus Lamb, the network grew into one of the most significant Christian television stations, gaining recognition for its expansive reach and commitment to spreading the message of Christianity across the globe. However, beneath the surface of Daystar's polished image lies a complex and deeply troubling family rift that has shaken the foundation of the ministry. At the heart of the controversy is the Lamb family, with Marcus Lamb's sudden death in November 2021 serving as the catalyst for a series of explosive allegations and accusations. After Marcus's death from complications related to COVID-19, his wife, Joni Lamb, assumed leadership of Daystar, taking over the role of president. This transition, however, was not as smooth as it appeared. Jonathan Lamb, Marcus's son and longtime vice president of the network, found himself at odds with his mother and other family members over the future leadership of the organization and, more critically, over a shocking set of accusations involving his young daughter. Jonathan and his wife Susie made public accusations that their young daughter had been molested by a family member during a retreat at a Daystar-owned beach house. The accusations were both deeply distressing and divisive, as they implicated not only a close relative, but also suggested a cover-up within the family. According to Jonathan and Susie, after the initial disclosure of the molestation, their daughter stopped discussing the matter, and efforts to investigate were inadequate, leading them to believe that the abuse had been mishandled or deliberately ignored. These allegations created a rift within the Lamb family, with Jonathan accusing his mother, Joni, of shielding the alleged perpetrator, whom they referred to only as Pete. The accusations turned into a full-fledged family dispute, with Jonathan and Susie publicly declaring that the organization had failed to take appropriate action. Jonathan's claims were further fueled by his belief that the network had mishandled both the investigation and the family's responses to his daughter's trauma. Joni Lamb's defense: legal and personal retaliation. In response to these charges, Joni Lamb issued a public defense, denouncing the accusations as part of a personal attack orchestrated by her son to undermine her leadership and secure control of Daystar for himself. Joni's statement was blunt and firm, asserting that the claims made by Jonathan and Susie were entirely false and baseless. She vehemently denied any cover-up and vowed to defend her family against what she described as a smear campaign designed to damage both her reputation and that of the network she had worked tirelessly to build alongside her late husband. Joni also accused Jonathan of attempting to use the allegations as leverage to blackmail the organization into making him president of Daystar, a position he had long coveted. According to Joni, Jonathan's frustration with not being chosen as her successor, despite his belief that his father had selected him to lead Daystar, only deepened the already existing tensions within the family. She also pointed to the fact that Jonathan's objections to her remarriage to Doug Weiss in 2023 were part of a broader issue of control, with Jonathan seeking to assert his dominance in the family ministry at any cost. Joni's defense was unwavering, and she claimed that Jonathan's actions were motivated by personal gain rather than a genuine concern for his daughter's well-being. In a written statement, Joni Lamb described the situation as deeply painful, but affirmed her commitment to protecting Daystar's legacy and her family's reputation. She emphasized that Daystar's focus remained on spreading the gospel, despite the personal turmoil engulfing the organization. The role of Jimmy Evans: authority and submission. One of the most contentious episodes in this unfolding drama occurred in July 2023, when Joni Lamb reportedly brought in Jimmy Evans, a prominent marriage counselor and founder of the Exo Marriage Ministry, to mediate the escalating conflict between her son and daughter-in-law. According to Jonathan and Susie, Evans played a pivotal role in pressuring them to publicly support Johnny's remarriage, which they viewed as a manipulative and heavy-handed tactic. The meeting, which was recorded and later shared with investigative reporters, featured Evans making several statements that left Jonathan feeling cornered and humiliated. One of the most striking exchanges involved Evans telling Jonathan that his mother, Joni, was the voice of God to him, and that he was required to submit to her authority as the head of Daystar. Jonathan, visibly shocked, questioned Evans, asking if this meant that he could no longer hear directly from God. Evans' response was chilling. What she says is God in Daystar. This exchange sparked outrage and confusion among those who later heard the recording, as it suggested that Joni's leadership was not just spiritual, but absolute, with little room for dissent or independent thought. Jonathan and Susie saw this as a blatant attempt to manipulate them into submission, not just within the family, but also within the network. The recording became a focal point for further media attention and public scrutiny of Daystar's inner workings. The allegations of abuse. A complex investigation. Amid the family turmoil, Jonathan and Susie Lamb continued to push for justice regarding the allegations of abuse. They claimed that the internal investigation into the molestation claims was woefully inadequate, and they demanded a thorough, independent review of the events. Jonathan pointed to the fact that a family member, whom they had suspected of being the perpetrator, had been cleared in an internal investigation that they later found to be deeply flawed. Jonathan and Susie were adamant that the investigation was compromised, and they raised questions about why such a sensitive issue had not been handled with greater care and urgency. In the aftermath of these claims, Pete, the alleged perpetrator, and his legal representative have vehemently denied all accusations. Mark Daniel, an attorney representing Pete, called the allegations baseless and accused Jonathan and Susie of slander. According to Daniel, the Lambs' accusations were not only false, but also misleading, as they continued to travel with Pete and his family after the supposed incidents occurred. This prompted Jonathan to clarify that, while they had maintained a relationship with Pete, they had set strict boundaries, ensuring that Pete and his wife were never alone with their daughter. Despite the legal battles and public defamation, the Lamb family has remained divided on the issue, with no clear resolution in sight. The situation continues to cast a shadow over Daystar's operations, and the public drama surrounding the family has raised serious questions about the integrity of the organization. The history of scandals and controversies at Daystar. The Lamb family's drama is not the first controversy to hit Daystar Television Network. Over the years, the organization has faced numerous legal and ethical challenges that have put its reputation in jeopardy. One of the earliest and most significant scandals occurred in 2003 when Daystar was investigated by the Federal Communications Commission for allegedly selling airtime on its non-commercial educational stations to for-profit entities. This investigation raised concerns about Daystar's financial practices and its compliance with FCC regulations. The investigation culminated in a settlement in which Daystar agreed to pay a $17,500 fine for past non-compliance and implemented a multi-level review process to ensure that its programming adhered to FCC guidelines. While the investigation was ultimately resolved, it marked the beginning of a series of legal battles and public relations challenges for the network. In 2008, Daystar found itself at the center of another scandal, when Marcus Lamb admitted to having an extramarital affair several years earlier. The revelation, made during a live broadcast, shocked viewers and led to a wave of legal actions, including lawsuits from former employees who claimed to have suffered emotional distress and sexual harassment due to the affair. These lawsuits were eventually withdrawn, but the damage to Daystar's reputation was significant. Another controversy arose during the COVID-19 pandemic when Daystar aired programs that featured prominent anti-vaccine figures and promoted unproven treatments for the virus. The network faced widespread criticism for spreading misinformation, and some of its broadcasts were even reviewed by international media regulators. Daystar's involvement in these conspiracy theories only added fuel to the fire surrounding its already tarnished image. Conclusion: a family divided, a network in crisis. The saga of the Lamb family and Daystar Television Network is a tragic and complex tale of power, control, and deeply personal allegations. The family's once united front has fractured under the weight of accusations, legal battles, and leadership disputes. As Daystar continues to navigate these tumultuous waters, it remains to be seen whether the organisation will be able to recover from the damage to its reputation, or whether the Lamb family's internal strife will continue to haunt its legacy. In the meantime, the world watches as a Christian television empire grapples with its darkest chapter yet.